Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today you will be on Algebra 1, Q.3, Identify Independent and Dependent Variables. Kenneth is making fresh tomato juice. The amount of juice he can make depends on how many tomatoes he has. A equals the amount of juice Kenneth can make. T equals the number of tomatoes Kenneth has. Which of the variables is independent and which is dependent? Your answer choices state T is the independent variable and A is the dependent variable. A is the independent variable and T is the dependent variable. So they just switch them around. What depends on what? Let's try it this way. The juice, it depends on the tomatoes. So we're going to make juice the dependent variable. So that would be A is the dependent and the number of tomatoes independent. Good work. For a party, Blanca made a pan pizza from scratch. The number of people in attendance will determine how many squares she cuts the pizza into. P equals the number of people attending the potluck. S equals the number of squares Blanca cuts the pizza into. Which of the variables is independent and which is dependent? P is the independent variable and S is the dependent variable. S is the independent variable and P is the dependent variable. Well, the number of people in attendance will determine how many squares she cuts from the pizza into. Okay. So let's try it the other way this time. And then if we miss, we can see a definition. Okay. So I'm going to do it just the opposite. I'm going to put S is the independent variable. See, that time it was incorrect. And here's the explanation I want you to see. S is the independent variable and P is the dependent variable. And here's the explanation that none of y'all read, but you need to when you miss a problem. It gives you the problem again. Okay? And then what you answered. And here's the part where it explains more. There are two variables, one independent, the other is called the dependent. The variable whose value does not depend on the other variable is the independent variable. Okay. So start by finding the independent variable. Since the number of squares Blanca cuts the pizza into depends on how many people, that makes it the dependent variable. And that's always the best way to look at it. What depends on the other? If something depends on another thing, that first thing is the dependent. Your output, your solution, those are all dependent on whatever else happens in the problem. Okay? So use this when you miss one, if you miss one, to gain a better understanding. Don't just automatically click got it. So now we're on to the next problem. Lila is clearing space in the garden to plant some vegetables. The number of vegetables she can plant will depend. Okay, so the number of vegetables she can plant depends on the area available. Okay, so we know that the number of vegetables is our dependent. So let's see, it says P equals the number of vegetables Lila can plant. So P is the dependent one. Should be down here. I like that one. Well done. See, it'll tell you in the problem, something depends on the other one. Next problem. Susan is going backpacking in a couple of days and is buying trail mix for the trip. Yummy. The amount of trail mix she will bring depends on how long she plans to backpack. So the amount of trail mix depends. That's your dependent variable. Let's see which one says that. A is the amount of trail mix. A is the dependent. It's going to be right down here. Let's scroll up a little so y'all can see. It says A is a dependent. That's got to be our answer. Excellent. Kim goes running every morning. The farther she runs, the more calories she burns during the run. D equals the distance Kim runs. C equals the number of calories Kim burns during the run. So which one depends on the other? Well, I think the number of calories she burns depends on how far she runs. So that would be the first option. C is dependent upon how much she runs. Excellent. So now you see kind of how Q3 works. And most of the time it will tell you, this depends on that. Well, whatever comes before that word depends is the dependent variable. I hope this one will be easy for you as well.